Greetings all, it's DFuxa, and welcome to my desktop. Alright, so, I'll note this is basically a video to sort of showcase the setup for this game and what you have to do basically to get recorded and stuff like that. But before we get into any of that, we're just going to go to Mozilla here, and in the Google search bar I basically have right here, we're just going to enter MechCommander Gold. Freeware download. So, I will note at this point that MechCommander Gold is freeware, and you can basically download it legally for free, basically from any of these sites right here. And I'll note that basically for the specific copy for this game here, I went to this right here, the ModDB site, and I got this right here, just download right here. This one basically came with some resolutions that were not actually applicable to the original game. It was actually made to have for example 1600 by 900 resolution or 1920 by 1080 or even 1440 by 900. But well, I basically wanted to have a better resolution for this game because there was issues basically playing it. Specifically, it basically tried to open up this file right here, for example, the default file for the game. So I'll note that right now basically it's a black screen for you guys, and I'm actually not seeing a black screen myself, but the recorder basically can't pick up what's basically showing on the screen right now. Right now you can basically hear the title screen music, but you're just seeing a black screen. And part of the reason for this is because there's something called direct draw basically going on in the background for this game. And let's go exit out of this right now. And direct draw basically is it's very old tool basically for running games. And because of it, you basically can't see it's being recorded because it's too old for OBS or Fraps or anything like that to capture. So I'll note that basically to play this game, I actually do some changes for it. So I'll note basically this is the press.cfd file right here. To basically get this to work for recording, I have to basically change the direct draw here to be false. And what this basically does, it basically windows the game. So here's what it basically looks like right now. And I'll basically show off in a little bit, but whatever. So this is basically what the game basically looks like for me to basically play my desktop. And as you can see, it's very, very small.
Command interface initiated.
Now, a beauty of this is basically you get to see the screen right here, a little bit bigger.
First battalion is on planet. We caught the smoke.
This is basically Commander Reese right here, and she basically appears at the start of all these operational briefings for you to basically jump into this game with. Anyhow, let's just jump into the mission here itself, so you can basically see what's going on.
Commencing deployment. Networks prepare for combat.
Uh-oh, new contact.
All right, so this is basically the default game screen for this game. It's basically in 640 by 480 resolution, and it's very, very small. It's actually so small that it's very hard not to click out of the window. So,
Here, heads up, I've got...
whoops! I clicked outside the window and now it's stopped. This is going to happen more often than not, by the way, but whatever.
Link here, I have a new sensor trace.
Let's just fire this guy here a little bit.
Hunter here, taking fire. Another one bites the dust.
So I'll note that basically for all the first missions of each operation, I basically tried to play it in this resolution, but for the most part, this is a very constrained resolution that basically makes it very hard to see stuff. And if I basically center it on these guys and zoom in, I mean you can see some of the details on these guys here a little bit, but for the most part it's not all that great for the most part for anything. Anyhow, that's basically the default resolution for this game. Now, I'll note to capture this resolution. I actually had to capture the window for this game. So basically, you're seeing when you're basically going to see the videos for it. You basically Windows capture for this game, and I basically had the setting here basically set to be for the window itself. So there's the the aspect ratio for it and what it's basically capturing. Now, I will note by the way that the game for the most part. It's going to be very structured the videos we basically see. I'll note that basically for the 640 by 480 resolution, it's going to be a little distorted, and I apologize for that. But there's really like no good way basically showing out the like, you know, the video with regards to all that, so nothing really to do about it really. Let's just X out of this right here.
Mission failed. Incoming transmission.
Alright, so yeah, that's basically like the like, you know, default resolution for the game. Now, I'll note that one of the reasons I basically got this mod was because it basically included like, you know, the additional resolution for me to basically try. And one of them was basically just 1600 by 900 resolution right here. I initially tried like this like 920 by 1080, but the problem like this one right here is because it's like so big the window, it basically like, you know, overlaps my screen, so to speak. So yeah. If I jump into like that same mission, for example,
Initiate incoming transmission.
Davian guard.
Commencing deployment. Mech-Warriors prepare for combat.
this is what it basically looks like. So yeah, I'll note that like, you know, trying to like, you know, scroll this game is a little difficult because like, you know, I basically like, you know, can't scroll like the window because it's like, you know, bigger than my screen for the most part. And it's also got like these like, you know, these like square like, you know, fuzz things going on in the background. So there's issues basically with like this, you know, resolution here for the most part. Now, I will note if I try and zoom in on these guys, it looks a lot better, for sure.
Heads up, I've got a new contact.
So here's what the models basically look like at this point. So we have a little bit more like, you know, depth basically to see around these guys, and like, you know, it looks better, but whatever. Alright, enough of this.
Mission failed. Incoming transmission.
I know time I ever used like the 1920 by like, you know, 1080 resolution for like recording because, you know, it's just too big basically to record with, so I basically opted for like the 1600 by 900 resolution instead. And here it is right here. And by the way, I'll note that like, you know, because I have the direct draw disabled, these are like the title like credits that basically like open up at the start of the game, and as you can see, they like, you know, don't look too good. Guess what the opening intro movie looks like for this game? Because there is an intro movie for this game. And here it is.
That's the last contact. Moving to escort position. Roger that. Thanks for the assist.
Mech base, shift to ready status. Combat operations are commencing.
Attention all men. Prepare for immediate gravity change. We are beginning our approach.
Fugliness inbound.
Report landing zone status.
Alpha landing zone, all clear. Bravo zone.
Blah.
Delta zone, clear.
So yeah.
I need Charlie zone status. Report.
This is what it basically looks like without direct draw in my videos.
It's real quiet down here.
I think we can call it clear.
Alright, enough of that. So I'll note that I basically didn't show off any of like, you know, the opening like credits for this game, or I didn't even show you the outro movie for this game because like, you know, it's basically sort of a direct draw on, and there's really nothing I can basically do about that. But oh well, that's basically just how it is.
Command interface initiate. Incoming transmission. Commencing deployment.
So here's what it basically looks like in this version right here. So this is basically what the version basically looked like when I basically played the game, and for the most part, it worked quite well for like, you know, many missions. Now I will note that this game does crash quite a bit, apparently, with like, you know, the like higher resolutions like I have it right here.
Firing from position. Hunter here. Got one.
And for some reason, it's basically got like this like, you know, this sort of like red box sometimes, like, you know, on the map, but whatever. It's not perfect basically, but whatever.
Mission failed. Incoming transmission.
And yeah, I just want to basically show off a little bit, you know, what the game basically look like to basically record it, because basically the thing about this game is that, you know, it's basically a game I've always basically wanted to show you guys, because it is like, you know, very awesome, like, you know, RTS, and I don't think there's basically that, you know, many have been done like, you know, of this nature for the most part, but you know, I was very much glad to basically show it off, and like, you know, I basically went through the full original campaign with like, you know, a mix of like, you know, the original 640 by 40 like, you know, resolution for like, you know, the additional mission for like each operation, and then I basically played with like, you know, the rest of it with like, you know, 69 by 900 resolution where I could, you know, could do so basically. The game has crashed quite a bit apparently with like, you know, this resolution here, so there's like some issues with it, but for the most part it did work quite well, so hooray. Now, I will note that going forward, I am going to basically like, do the expansion for this game. And something I'm basically going to do. Now, on the bar, you can actually change the resolution, like, adjustments right here. So, if I have it like on 0, right, for example, it basically, has the default one. This is like the default like resolution right here. So, full screen, nothing really, like, too different from here. On the bar, you can actually change like the resolution, like, in here to be like, different with like, these numbers here. So, if I put 1, here is a 800 by 600 resolution for the game. It's a little bit bigger than like 640 by 40, but not a whole lot. So not going to be using it, but it's there. And here is a third one. Now supposedly this is 2080, but by 1024. This gives quite a bit of a resolution for the game, but I found it like doesn't really properly record on my machine, so I'm probably not going to use it either for like recording. But it's here basically. Basically, like if we're going to expansion campaign here.
Incoming transmission. Commencing deployment. Mech warriors.
Here's what it basically looks like. There's a little bit of like that fuzz basically happening, but it goes away quickly enough. And there's one of my guys over here, for example. Now, this is basically like, one of like the natural resolutions for this game that's like, meant to be played in. Like, the developers actually meant for it to be played in its like, resolution because, it's actually one of the functions for the game to be played in. It basically gives a nice field of view basically when I go like up like here, for example, like this mountain range, for example. So, here's what I basically see. See like these like, others running around this like, area over here. Can see like the scenery quite well. Alright, enough of this. So we'll just exit right here.
Mission failed. Incoming transmission.
Now, what I basically intend to do, basically going on from here, I basically plan to like, put this down to like, resolution 2. And I'm basically gonna like, change this to like, I'm basically gonna record it basically in like, the settings of 1024 by 768. And other part of these are like, a 4x3 like, resolution. So, I figure it's basically gonna be like, a little bit like, bigger than like, the like, default one, but like a little bit more like, maneuverable to like, move my mouse around with. And this is sort of showed off. And by the way, note this is like, the same one right here, but I like to like, do it the way the developers intended, right?
Command interface initiated.
We'll just drop back in here real quick.
Let's go! Commencing deployment. Mech warriors prepare for combat.
And yeah, here's what it basically looks like. So, this is the resolution I basically intend to play the game with. And it's sort of like this to show off that yes, this does record basically, like, for us to start recording right here. There's a roar right there.
This is Spike. There's no way through.
And you see like, my mech's basically moving on like the little recording thing over there. And yeah, these guys are slow, but whatever. I'll get to what's going on in like, this expansion when like, we get to the first mission, but whatever. For now, it's like, a showing of it. Let's stop recording right here.
Mission failed.
Let's exit out of here.
Incoming transmission.
Alright, so yeah, basically like, that's what I have to sort of like do to basically get just basically to record. Set this basically to be like, the appropriate like, resolution size, set to be windowed, play it windowed, lots of fun. Now, I'll note by the way that the, because it's basically like, in this like resolution right here, if I go to like, the OBS file for it, and if I basically click it right here, you can basically see like, it's like, what we basically play with. So there's like, my guys moving on the mech right there. There's a roar right there.
This is Spike. There's no way through.
And you see like, my mech's basically moving on like the little recording thing over there. Isn't it fun listening to me like, in like, stereo? Alright, enough of that. Now, no, probably one of like, feeling of this like, reproach is that I basically have to go and like, well, it's not basically showing off here, but basically figure out like this OBS file right here. I basically have to go in and like actually like change like the like resolution to be like higher than what it was. Basically, dimensions for this is like, as you can see, like it's basically right there. So it's a lot lower than like what it was, but for like a 1920 by like 1080 resolution. So I'm basically having like the structures quite a bit, basically to like show it to you guys, but whatever. Anyhow, I figured I basically wanted to show off a little bit what's going on, because like it is a game that like I had to do a lot of work basically record, and it's gonna show that it's like not entirely like beautiful, I guess we'll say. But hope you guys basically enjoy. Will basically come and follow. But for now, take care. Click. I'll talk to you in a moment. And click.